All right, welcome everybody. This is week 2 of Edit, and today we are doing Design Thinking 101. But first of all, we have some kind of housekeeping things and some exciting news. One of the exciting pieces of news is that we have some new folks with us today. So one of those people is Chitara. And Char, we're going to go ahead and put in the chat some questions for you. So questions that we asked everyone last time. So when you watch the recording, you'll get to see everyone's answers. But we would love for you to say your name, what you hope to get out of this program, and then what could be the craziest thing that could happen if your expectations for the program are met.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Jatara Mason. What I hope to get out of the program is I would love to get some information and some guidance on advancing my business, especially in the area of telehealth. The craziest thing that could happen if my expectations are met would be that I would be able to expand my business even further. And I would be able to go ahead and go forth with creating more of an agency out of my business as opposed to a solo entity.
All right, love that, Jatara. Thank you for sharing. We also have Kenya with us. Kenya, would you mind introducing yourself and answering those questions for everyone? The questions are in the chat. It's what's your name, what you hope to get out of the program, and what could be the craziest thing that could happen if your expectations are met.
Yes, thank you. So my name is Kenya Medard. What I hope to get out of the program is to get a foundation so that I can start my business. I have the idea. I need to grow the idea into something material now. And the craziest thing would be that I could finally retire and I would have a team that would do it and I would manage from time to time.
That is amazing. Thank you, Kenya. All right, so we now have 8 total participants, and I think that we are going to call it to a close there. There's potential maybe one more that will join us, but it's looking like 8. So this is kind of our cohort, and we hope you guys all create like a nice little community here. We also wanted to just go over a couple different things for the new people. Most of you did a great job on doing your welcome and terms and filling those out. If you haven't done that, I think actually at this point, Kenya, it might just be you, and I know you joined us late, but if you could go ahead and go to your dashboard and go into the course that says welcome and terms and just make sure to click those that you accept and finish those assignments, that would be great. And then how did you guys do with your with the getting to know the site assignment? I saw a lot of people were doing different pieces of it, and I want to just see how you found the site overall. Anybody? Diana, I'm looking at you. Actually.
Oh yeah, I was trying to unmute it. Hi. I found it pretty easy once I guess day by day I tried to like do little by little, but I found it pretty easy. The more I log in, it got easier and easier.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then Linda, I'm looking at you now. What did you think? Were you able to navigate? You got your assignment done, so.
I'm not sure. Did I get my one goal in the right place?
I think you did. Yes,
okay.
You did.
I haven't been able to do a very good job on that yet. I'm still thinking it out. It looked very complex on the schematic of what I should do, but just getting the big picture was still a hurdle for me. And then I only got the big picture at one aspect of it. I think maybe I need to get a couple of more aspects of it in order to start breaking it down into things I can do.
Yep. Well, we are going to, as part of your assignment that you upload this week, we would like you to upload your launch goals. And the reason why that is that we want to be able to support you, and us knowing what your goals are is really helpful. So you'll find in the chat, in the discussion forum, there is a forum area where Linda put hers already, some goals, but we want you to add them there so that the rest of the group can kind of help hold you accountable and can help support you. But we do want you to upload it in your assignment this next time to the program team.
Okay, so where is that exactly?
We'll go into that a little more later.
Okay, I don't know where to put it up.
Yep, we'll go into that later. Don't worry.
Okay, all right.
So I did get one question about where a field was in, where the bio field was in the profile. And it was a great question. And so I wanted to just tell everyone the answer to it. Where you find that is there's a lot of fields in your profile that you won't see until you go and click edit your profile, and then the extra fields pop up. So just a heads up there that that's the way that works. All right. And then one last bit of housekeeping is that we, believe it or not, are coming up on our first check-in appointments with you. So those are hour-long check-ins with me, potentially some other people on the team, but definitely with me. And what we'll do is we'll just talk together through your problem and some different things like that. So what I would love for everyone to do, just to help me plan, to help you get it on your calendar, is go ahead and, thank you, RJ, click on that and pick your date now, if you don't mind. So I try to give a bunch of dates. I did not give any times on Super Bowl Sunday. I will give you a heads up there. But there are dates from the 9th to the 14th. And then that way, and we will be working in class through that problem statement. That's actually what we're doing today. So don't worry. Go Eagles. Oh, so don't worry if you know, you will be all set by the time you get to that meeting to talk about it. So, all right. Are we picking dates right now? Paul, are you picking a date? Okay, great. I'll look at everyone's faces to just see to make sure we're all on the same page.
I'm sorry, where did you want us to do the date picking?
So in the chat, RJ put a link to Calendly, and that should be, you can book us an appointment that way. And if everyone could just do that now, that would be great. And you can do it through, what was that?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You can pick it. You can pick it and request it through the website.
Okay,
and I'll send you back a confirmation. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. We have a ton of stuff planned for today. And what we're going to be discussing today is really kind of the why of your business. And so we are all about here building businesses around problems, not solutions. And there's some really good reasons for that. If you build your problem around a solution, it is much harder to change with the times and reinvent yourself. If you think of maybe a typewriter company that started out with typewriters. Well, if they were focused on the solution of a typewriter, and they weren't willing to move with the times, then it's probably not so relevant anymore. And so we want you to, they say, to fall in love with the problem, not the solution. We want you to really dive into that problem portion of what you're trying to solve. And to do that, we are going to be kind of going through the different components of a problem. So the what and the why. So for a problem, the first thing that you have to ask yourselves is, what's true right now? So if there's a problem, what's true at this moment? So we're going to use the example of Jim. So in this scenario, Jim can't read. That's the truth of it. Jim can't read. And then there's the vision, which is the ideal future, what Jim wants to do. So Jim wants to be able to read street signs, the newspaper, stories to his children, and he wants to write a novel. So like his big dream is, I want to write a novel. So that is the condition. That the condition is right now, and then the vision is the future. And the problem is the gap between the two. So that gap is in this scenario is Jim can't read and he wants to write the great American novel. So there's different ways that you could get there, right? There's a lot of different ways to be able to get there. And that's called the creative tension. So that is what this program is trying to help you find, the best in between to get from the problem to the vision, right? And so what we want to do now is we're going to take a few minutes to, and this was a very simplistic, problem and solution. When you're unpacking yours, it may be harder, but we want you to take a few minutes and write down what's true right now for your problem and what the vision is. And some of you, this might be really challenging, and there might be extra components to it too, like specificity that you're trying to address. But you can start with the basics. So the condition for your customer, and then the vision. All right, Paul, I see your head has popped up. Would you mind sharing with us what your condition is and what your vision is?
Yes, I wrote, students want to improve in math in school, and Jim wants to improve, well, Jim, but students want to improve in math in school. How would you like things to be? Yeah, I guess it's just more simple like that. Students want to improve in math in school. I guess for the condition, I was like, yeah. Mhm.
So is the condition for your students that they're not doing well in math? Is that the condition, or that they're having a hard time understanding it? Okay.
Yes.
And the vision is that they're understanding math and applying it to their lives and able to do well in school and fluidly apply it to their life, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So we're going to be trying to figure out that gap, how to get them from one side to the other, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep. Okay. Does someone else want to share? Thank you, Paul, for being the guinea pig there. Elizabeth, can I ask you to share, please? Do you mind?
Sure. Well, you don't have to look at it very far in the news to see that there's environmental disasters everywhere. And this is just unfortunately going to keep on going. So that's the way it is now. And the way I would like it to be would be for people to start living in harmony with the environment and making maybe a change in the way that they feel about life by being able to go with the flow, so to speak, and ride out a natural disaster and not be totally devastated by it. So there's kind of a big,
Thank you, Linda.
yeah, there.
Chatara, I see your hands up. Oh. All right. Elizabeth, would you mind sharing yours really quickly?
I don't mind. So what I'm working on, and hello to those, I wasn't here in the first class, but was able to make this one. And so what I'm looking for is launching I guess, a program or a sub part of my business. And so what the condition is that, obviously people don't know about it yet because I haven't launched it. So I've been doing some behind the scenes stuff. And I guess the flip side of that condition is that it is something that is needed for people in the nonprofit sector. Well, I don't want to say needed, but it's a level of necessity that is out there for people in the nonprofit area, in the nonprofit space. The vision would be that my program becomes a go-to for information about starting and sustaining a nonprofit organization. And I think the biggest part of that is it's the go-to because it has measurable steps throughout the whole thing. So you don't feel like you just were told information and then kind of left to do it yourself, but kind of have like a way to walk through it and have measurable information with it as well. And right now, the problem is gathering all the information. Well, it's not a problem. But the building the connection to being that type of resource. So it's building the connections and relationships to the information that's needed, as well as building that trust with the nonprofit community to be that type of resource for them. That's where I'm at right now.
Those are all really good.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I will just acknowledge all of them are really good. We've been hearing good stuff so far. We can't hear you, Katie.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, so a lot of great stuff in there, Elizabeth. I would caution everyone when you're thinking, we want you to really think through that problem side of things, and the problem for your customer, not the problem for you, the problem for your customer. So if I want to have, maybe it's that Elizabeth, they have a nonprofit, but they don't know what to do. And then the vision is that they're able to do everything correctly, right? Like they're able to do it successfully. So we're going to stay away from the solution that you have envisioned right now. We are just talking about the problem for your customer. So
okay, my apologies. I understood it the other way.
Yep. No, that's fine. That's why I wanted to clarify. But no, that was great. And like I said, a lot of good information there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a few more minutes to just write down, describe that gap a little bit more. So think about, why that's there, and use some descriptive words for it when you're writing it down. Like this one says, Jim can't read and wants to write a great American novel. Go a little deeper than that example. And I'm going to give you guys just a couple minutes to do that. All right, guys. So, we are going to just hold off on that creative tension part, because that's what we're really trying to do within this course. So we're going to be doing that more, but one of the things that I want you guys to do, I'm going to open up breakout rooms, and I want you just to talk about with each other your, that condition, that vision, and that gap. And I want just to group brainstorm, get ideas from each other, and really refine it. So I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes in your breakout, and I'm going to open up the breakout rooms right now. RJ and Sean and I will be in the breakouts, but we're just going to be a fly on the wall. So I want you guys to really get the conversation going and just immediately start sharing with each other and try to build that community. So, okay, here we go.
is being recorded.
All right, everyone. Welcome back. I know it can be kind of jarring to all of a sudden get thrown out of your breakout rooms. How did everyone do?
We did. I'm pretty okay.
Okay. So just to let you guys know, there were reasons that I picked you guys to be together. And so, you know, I really do hope that you will share. There's some of the people that were in your breakouts were really, I think you guys could help each other and have things in common that I got to learn about you guys in the interviews that I think would benefit your businesses. So just wanted to share that really quickly, and please, you know, dig a little deeper with the people that you're in your breakout rooms with. So wanted to kind of go back to that problem statement. We have a lot of things that we don't know. So we said that Jim couldn't read, and maybe we were trying to, like, we immediately started thinking of solutions, but it's important to really think about the problem. So it could be that Jim is sitting in a dark room. So the solution for that would be totally different than if Jim has a learning disability, or Jim can't afford glasses, or maybe, I did not make the slide, but maybe Jim is a blind little mouse, or maybe Jim's a little kid and he just doesn't know how to read yet, or maybe Jim's not alive anymore. So there's a variety of solutions that lend themselves to each of these things, but we have to really dig into the problem to really understand what we don't know to be able to build the right solution. So if you're just assuming things about Jim, then we could build a totally wrong solution. All right, so we're going to ask ourselves questions, and this is going to be your homework. You're going to keep working on this, but it's, why do you think there's a problem? What's happening? When is it happening? Where is it happening? Who do you think is involved? Why is it happening? So, you know, there's, like, I heard Ashley kind of go into some of this with hers in the last breakout, and it was great, but she was talking about, you know, quality childcare centers, and she was talking about some of the, like, why do you think there's a problem? Well, they don't have these, like, rich activities and things like that. So I want you to really, like, go back to your problem that you're trying to solve and say, you know, when is it happening? Where is it happening? You know, if the problem is that you're getting rained on, for instance, when is that happening? Well, it's probably not happening when you're visiting a desert. It's probably not happening when you're in your house asleep at night. You know, so really just continue to dig into it. So I'm going to throw you guys back in your breakout rooms to do some of this where you're really going to dissect it more together. So I'm going to give you guys like 10 more minutes, same breakout rooms, get to know each other. If you didn't share before, make sure you share. And we are going to dig into those even more. So hang on. Okay. Off we go again. RJ, can you hang out for just a second?
I'm here.
How was your breakout?
Yeah, it was good. So I guess trying to keep up with making sure they are watching time was big. they were able to kind of talk about identifying what their problems were in their industry and seeing what ways their company can serve those problems.
Great. All right.
Yeah.
But remember to make them focus on the problem, not the solution. So, all right, I'm gonna go join room number 1. I'll let you head on in.
Alrighty. Okay.
Okay. All right, everybody. How'd the breakout rooms go? Are you getting to know each other? Getting to know what each other are doing? All right, good. All right, so we need to, when we're looking at the problem and we're starting to think about solutions a little bit, we need to find out, you know, does it make sense? We need to ask ourselves some questions about, does it make sense? For who? So who's your user? And you don't want to say everybody. That is going to turn off investors. It's going to turn off a business mentor. I'm telling you right now that if you say that your customer is everyone, it's a no-go, because your customer is, hang on, let me turn on my video again. I don't know what happened there. Your customer is not going to be both a like newborn baby and a 106-year-old man. It's just, there's no way that you're not going to, you know, you want to define your customer even more. So who is the problem really? Who is that really for? And then, is your solution going to make sense? Why or why not? And then what's the supporting evidence behind that? And what's the context too? So we want you to build solutions that people want. And a lot of times people don't want solutions, or they don't want your solution. For instance, Wanda has a story about how she doesn't wear gloves. When she has cold hands, she goes and she grabs some socks. She just prefers to do it that way, and it works for her. She is solving her problem without the solution that someone might be. So someone might have the best gloves in the whole wide world, and she doesn't. Her solution, you know, her needs are already being met. She's figured it out. And so we really want to keep asking ourselves, does it make sense? Who is it for? Keep really diving into that problem. All right. I would like you guys to take a look at this picture. Can everyone see the picture? And tell me about the person who this is their backyard. What do you think you can find out about them? What do you think about them?
They have a green thumb.
They have a green thumb. All right, good.
They like pets, and particularly a dog. They seem to be a little bit more adventurous because they ride bicycles.
Nice.
They might
They don't
be a
like to
little
match
busy.
the stain on the fence to the stain on the deck.
What was that, Sean?
They don't like to match the stain on the fence to the stain on the deck.
All right. Someone
They
else?
smoke.
What else
Short
do
on
we got?
cash. But they like to have a lot of things that make life pleasant.
Okay, they like to spend money on things that make life pleasant. What else?
They smoke.
Yep. I
They
spied that one too.
All that. That's a good
What
eye.
else, you guys?
I don't know. They're outdoorsy. It seems like there's a chair out there. It looks like they didn't push it back in. I see plants. Like Jatara said, there's a bike there.
All right. So I don't know anything about these people either. I have guesses too. But this is just some random picture that Dr. Wanda found. And the point is that we all bring our experiences and our assumptions to the table, right? Like, we're looking and stuff and we're like, oh, well, they've got a bike, they're, you know, the chair's pulled out, they're outdoorsy, they appreciate the outdoors. You know, we even got into like maybe their spending habits a little bit, and then they like to surround themselves with things that they like and make their lives better. We bring a lot with us when we're coming to the table to think about things, like even just a backyard. So we want to make sure that you are stepping back a little. And this is even harder sometimes for people who already have a business, which a lot of you do. We want you to step back and say, what is my assumption? What am I bringing to the table, and what is there? And really kind of separate them so that we can really discover the problem. We can really dig into what's going on without adding that layer that we think from our experiences. So a few things on context really quickly. You see these guys. And here, it might have looked the same in the last one, but in this one, your brain starts saying, well, that's an H and that's a thing, right? Like our brains start to fill in stuff. Here's another one. You guys have probably seen this. And I know this is kind of a basic concept, but what's really not basic is the complexity of like peeling yourself away from your assumptions about why people have the problem, and getting to a point where you are really listening to what they're saying and really trying to understand and not adding your own interpretation on top of it. Because it's very natural for us to do that, to fill in the blanks. So obviously these are the same size, but when you put those little thingies on the end, they look different. All right, so now I want to get into kind of some of the framework of this course. There are two big concepts that we are going to be working through, and they're frameworks for businesses and for thinking through businesses. One is called design thinking, and one is called Lean Startup. Has anyone here heard of either of these? And it is absolutely fine if you haven't. That is what this is all about. Okay, so we are going to get into each. So design thinking is this process. It's a 5-step process, and that's what our 5 weeks are actually about in the program. So the first step of the process is empathize. So it's to develop a deep understanding of the challenge. The next one is define. You want to clearly articulate the problem. And then you want to brainstorm. So once you figured out the problem, you're going to start thinking about ideas, and then you're going to prototype it, and you're going to test, right? So those are the stages of design thinking. The thing about design thinking, and we'll get into this even more, is that a lot of times it's not that straight line. You will have to go back into the process and refine to go forward. So you'll keep working on it. So I want to play a video for you guys really quickly. And that's going to require me sharing my screen for the video. And let's see. Okay. I'm hoping you guys can hear this when I play it. It's like an 8-minute video. It is a little goofy, I'll just warn you. But it does a good job of explaining the different stages of design thinking. So I'm going to start playing it. Let me know if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
I'm not able to hear it. I'm not able to hear it.
We hear it now.
You hear it now that it's not on my screen. All right. You know what, you guys?
I know that sometimes you have to click where it says, when you do the screen share, you have to click optimize for video.
I know. So there's a thing. You know what I'm going to do? And I'm sorry, this is a workaround. There's a problem and I've got a solution. I am going to put it in the chat for everybody. And if you, I'm going to try to figure out how to make it work. But in the meantime, if everyone could just watch it on their computer, I apologize. I know that this is like, you know, not the way to do videos. So there it is in the chat. I'll give you guys, it's a 9-minute video. So at 7:41, I will bring us all back. I'm going to watch it along with you. How's it going, everybody? Watching?
Yes, I am 2:46 right now.
I'm on prototype. Where's everyone else? Prototype? Okay. All right, everybody. I see that people are finishing up and pretty much done. So that's the framework of this class. So we're doing kind of the 101 today of design thinking. And then what will happen is next week we'll start to empathize. We'll start to understand from our customer's point of view. And then we're going to really define the problem and make sure we've got it framed correctly. And then we will go through and brainstorm. It'll be this kind of wild brainstorming, think outside the box and try to figure out a bunch of different solutions. And then we're going to make a low res prototype. And we're going to get feedback on that because we want you spending your time not building out something that's perfect. We want you building something that people respond well to. So we want you to build it and get feedback and keep getting better. And we're going to test too. So it's kind of the framework of design thinking. It's also the framework of this class. So we're starting at a question, a vision, or a statement of intent. All of you guys have that right now. And then we are going to develop a clear opportunity. And then, so we're going to figure out the what and the why, and then the how. So we're going to try really hard in the first couple of weeks to not focus on the how yet. And that's one of the biggest challenges, especially when you've had an idea that you've been working on for a while, is to hold off on getting too far into that how. And we're just going to really listen, really make sure we've got the right understanding of the problem. All right. So then we have, so this is in both of them. So you're going to build something that is an MVP. So an MVP is something that is a minimum viable product. It's a base idea that can go out to market. It's like the least of what can be out there. And then we're going to see how see how our customers respond. And then we're going to learn from that. And then we're going to go back and build and measure and learn. And it's this process, right? It's a cycle. It's not a straightforward thing. You're going to constantly be refining and going back and getting that feedback in that loop. So if you spend your time iteratively building your products, so listening and then growing and listening and growing based on what your customers are saying, you will build something that they want. Versus what a lot of people do, which is build something in a very dark room, not an actually dark room, but closed off. They don't want to tell anyone. They don't want to let any ideas out. They don't get customer feedback. And I'm not saying you have to tell all your secret sauce or whatever right up front, but you want to start testing your solutions in a way that allows your customers to give you feedback and to build off of that and to keep building things that they want. And that's really some of the basis of what Lean Startup is about. It's about what is kind of the small thing that I can do to get out there and see how people respond, see how customers respond. So rather than a business plan, it's more of a business model. It's a hypothesis testing. And then for new product process, it's you actually test it. You get out of the office versus kind of the more traditional side of things where maybe you follow the step-by-step plan and you don't get out there and talk to people and you just, for engineering, it's you build incrementally, you build and build and build in little steps. And then for organization, you're gonna hire people who want to learn, who want to be nimble and who do things for speed. And so there's a few parts of this. There's also the idea of failure and failing fast so that you can learn from it, and failing in a way that lets you, it's expected as a lean startup that you'll fail. That's part of the learning process. That's part of the getting better process. And so, Sean, did you have a few things that you wanted to say on that portion of things? You there?
I'm here.
So, yeah, do you want to talk about failure in the lean startup?
Sure. So one of my companies is a soup company. So we make all kinds of soups and salad dressings and Colombian ají and chimichurri and lots of seasonings and flavors. So I'm sure some of you have tried new recipes out on your family members as guinea pigs. So those are sort of some of your first customers. So when you're going to go launch a soup company, you want to make sure that people like your soup. So you may start with your inner circle of your family, which a lot of times they'll lie to you and tell you that it tastes great, choke it down. Then you widen your circle and go to maybe some farmers markets. You'll get some responses. People say it's too salty. Why is there olive oil in it? Oh, this needs more veggies. So you'll start to get feedback and you may go back and refine the product. So one of our products, we took that same path. We got a lot of feedback that certain things that people didn't like. We redeveloped the product, and then we got into 23 different grocery stores. So then it's generating money. But some of the ingredients that were in that soup, when we had inflation, when we had logistics problems getting things from Asia, all of a sudden it was losing money to make the soup. So then something that was making us money, because there was no real way to pivot the ingredients, we had to basically kill the soup, right? So we probably should have killed the soup faster. but we were like, oh, prices will go down next week. Prices will go down next week. And then slowly the margins were decreasing until we were losing money on labor making the soup. So lots of people, the word failure and fail are bad things, but not me, but smarter people than I. You know, fail is a first attempt in learning if you look at the letters, right? It's not the failure that defines you. It's what you learn from it and what do you do next. Failing is a part of life. And the thing is that the faster you fail, if you learn from it and you're able to pivot or move and succeed on the next iteration, it only lets you get bigger, faster, stronger so that you can be more successful. So I would say when we're looking at the outline, you know, the failure and the speed, sometimes it's pretty good. One of the people uses the analogy of boxing. If you don't know how to box and you get in there with a professional boxer, you might have your hands up and he's still gonna reach out and touch you and you're gonna feel it. It's gonna hurt, and you hope that you can adapt and overcome more quickly. The speed that you're able to do that allows you to avoid the beatings, which in the market, you're going to take a beating financially, emotionally, right? Not as much physically, we hope, in most cases. So on the lean side, we want to try things, see if they work. If they don't work, shelve them. If they partially work, take the good parts, add on another better part, and then keep going.
Thank you, Sean. Yeah, you know, my mom is like the queen of cold calling. She cold calls people, and like the next thing you know, she's best friends with them. It's wild. Like, I really don't understand it. And one of the things that she said to me the other day, she's like, I love hearing no. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, no, it's the start of a conversation, because then I can figure out what they really need and I can give them a solution that they really need and that they'll be happy with. And so I think a lot of times we're afraid of that failure and afraid of that no or whatever, but it's good to know, and it's good to know early on so that we can continue listening and we can continue iterating. So typically in the past, design thinking and sort of lean startup are these two different systems, and people didn't really combine them and thought of them as like two different processes. But you know, you can bring them together in a really wonderful way, because you want to be able to build and learn and iterate. And design thinking really does that. So design thinking, the problem space of lean startup corresponds with the empathize, define, and ideate phase of design thinking. And then the solution space of lean startup is really where you get into the prototyping and the testing and the building and measuring and learning and building and measuring and learning that is part of lean startup. So we try to have both interplay throughout, and we want you to use both systems. So like I said, this course is really structured around that design thinking. And the first phase of that is going to be that empathize, where we're conducting research to develop and understand your users. The next phase will be to define, to combine all of your research and observations about where your users' problems really exist. And then we're going to brainstorm. And remember, in almost every interview that I sat in on, I asked you guys, are you willing to think outside of the box? Are you really willing to be creative? Are you really willing to have fun with this? And that's where we want you to really just kind of listen and come up with these like maybe even crazy ideas, but ideas that will help you find the best solution. And then we're going to take, after we've kind of sifted through all that, and we're going to build a prototype. We're going to build a low res prototype, and then we're going to build a little higher res prototype. But the low res one, we're going to take out and we're going to test, and we're going to see what your potential customers think of it. And then once we get that feedback, we'll go back and we'll prototype a little more, and then we'll test it again. And so it's this process, this iterative process, and this lean process where we're not getting too far ahead of ourselves before we're going out and testing things. But all of it is based on empathy. So we really, and that is the fundamental portion of design thinking and of this program. You want to listen to your customers. You want to listen to their needs. So we are going to be doing interviews, things like that. I want you to think through who you might interview, because that's coming up soon. So to really understand that problem in depth. So I've heard some of you mention it, that like Paul in his steps, when he was talking about his launch goals, he mentioned talking to the students. We're going to have people really do that empathy where you try to understand them. So we'll get into that more next week. But what I'd like to do with the next 20 minutes is I want to give you guys a chance to go back to those identifying questions. And that's your assignment for today. You're going to turn in the answers to your identifying questions, and you're also going to upload your launch goals along with it. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to that slide with the identifying questions. Why do you think there is a problem? What is happening? When is it happening? Where is it happening? Who do you believe is involved? And why is it happening? And we're going to go back to the breakout rooms. And I want you to get far enough in the next 20 minutes that you can submit some of your answers to this. We want you to not hold on to your assignments. We want you to turn them in so we can see where you're at. We can see what you're thinking, and you can keep working on it. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these in the chat. Stop my share here. I'm going to put them in the chat, and then and send everyone to the breakouts so that you can get your assignments done for this week. So here we go. And if you need help, use the people in your breakout room to try to answer these questions. All right, here. So you'll have 20 minutes in there. Get as far as you can.
Can you post it again? It's weird. I saw the message, but I don't see the questions in the chat for me.
Oh, sure. You have them now?
That's so weird.
I'm sending them just
oh, it went
to
up
you,
top.
too.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Let's see. What do you think of what's happening? Okay, all right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Of course. And Kenya, do you need help getting to your breakout rooms?
recorded.
All right. How did that go? Did everyone get far on their questions? And
Sorry, girls, my bad. We were still talking.
oh, yes, I know. It's very abrupt sometimes when these things end. So what I would love everyone to do, you have two choices. You can either if you feel like you're done, if you could upload it along with your 3 launch goals in the assignment area. If you still want to work on it, then email it to me now so I can see where you're at, and then upload it later. But I want to see how everyone's doing. So far, Reynard emailed me that he's going to email me his launch goals. I'm watching my email to see if you guys could just send me whatever you worked on. It doesn't matter if you're done or not. We're going to try to get you to let go of assignments and get something out the door to us as soon as possible.
Can you put your email in the chat for me, please?
Sure. It is Katie at 10and5.org.
I'm gonna have to reopen my my screen. I somehow closed it.
And then Linda, if you could also book something with the calendar, the booking thing, and get that done tonight, that would be great.
What would you explain what you mean? Booking the calendars? Oh, I did that.
Did that because nothing came through for you.
Okay, I thought I did the 9th at 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock. Okay. Well, I don't see it, but I'll add you to it unless there's a conflict, and then I'll let you know.
Thank you. I don't know what happened.
That's okay. We got it. Yes, for anyone who wasn't here last week and they want to hold off on sending their launch goals until they watch the recording, that's absolutely fine. And then in the assignment, how you upload your assignment is that you go to the lesson on the website, just like you did for the accepting terms sort of thing. And you'll go to you'll go to that lesson, the lesson for today, and then you'll scroll down to the bottom and there will be a button that says start assignment. You start assignment, and then it says launch goals, and it also says identifying your problem. And then there's a little upload box, and you will use that box to you can drag and drop, I believe, or you can select in there the file. So, all right, I'm seeing them come through. Kenya, Paul, thank you. Got 3. Kenya, do you have questions?
I'm getting to your place right now. Messages, is that correct?
You can send it through the messages, or you can email it to me using my email in the chat area. Kenya, did you have a question before? Or no?
Yeah, I'm missing last week. I think I'm week 1, module 2. I still need to do.
So we are on week 1, module 2.
We are doing that now.
Yes.
Okay. So I now have to complete that.
It won't let you
Correct.
access module 2 until you finish module 1. So once you submit module 1, it should allow you to submit module 2.
Module 1, I submitted. Right, Katie, you should have that.
So you did the terms. Let me check on the back end here.
Because week one, module one is crossed out for me.
Then you should be good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is
I
it
think
letting
I
you
did
go to
that the
second
very
one?
next night. I wasn't able to do it that Wednesday, but I think I did it Thursday.
Okay, great.
So now tonight, we were working on week one, module two.
Yep.
Okay. And so I have to go through,
Week 2, module 2, since this is, the second week, but it's fine. It's module 2 is which one you're doing. So,
okay.
Yep.
And so I still have to complete this here in the portal. And
Yeah.
the additional assignment that I emailed you, they're 2 separate assignments.
so if you're done, if you emailed me something and you're done, then you can just copy and paste that and put it into a document and upload it here. So
Okay,
I
so
just-
that's where
for
I'm
anyone-
kind of lost in
Yeah.
the navigation.
Yep.
So that
Yeah,
video
so-
from last
so-
week, will we have that soon?
yes, we will.
Okay,
RJ and I are working on that. So we
Okay.
just gotta get RJ the passwords and all that good stuff, and then she'll get it to you guys.
Okay.
She's been asking us for. All right, everyone. Well, we are right at 8:30. So if you have any problems submitting your assignment or don't know what to do, just let us know, and RJ and I are here to help you. If you want to think through your problem with me, just reach out. I'm happy to do that. But otherwise, I will see you guys on Wednesday night. And thank you all for this evening.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Great
Thank you
session.
all.
all
right.
right, good night.
Enjoyed everything. Thank you. I'm sending an email, Katie.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Lynn.